Hello Knife World, Alex here, bringing you another video. This one is on a piece that I've owned for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now. Most of you probably know what this is. It is a Jake Hoback full custom Kwaiback. This is a full custom from when he was doing full customs. To be honest with you, I haven't followed him a whole lot since I got into knives. He was really popular when I think Jim Skeleton certainly was highlighting his videos. He was probably more popular before that, to be honest with you. But I'd say he was really popular when overbuilt knives were a thing. He's certainly been adaptive to the market, and he's changed it. He's offered more production variants and other knives. There's a bit of controversy behind him a handful of years ago based on where he produced his knives. I guess dealers were advertising that he produced his knives all in America, and that wasn't exactly true. I don't know whether he knew or not, but he set the record straight. A lot of people took it hard. I didn't really follow it a whole lot. It wasn't that important to me because this is the only knife I own, and this is full custom, only produced by him, so it didn't really matter to me what he was doing with the other production knives. I hope he wasn't intentionally misrepresenting what he was doing. I don't know the guy. I've never talked to him about it. I don't know that I've ever met him at a show, so I'm going to leave that behind. It's not really my place to exercise judgment on what happened on a situation that I don't really know anything about. But I figured I'd bring it up just because it's part of the maker and part of what's happened with him. So this was before that. I'm gonna guess this knife was produced like sometime 2016 plus minus ish years. I think this is one of two in this configuration. As you can see, we've got carbon fiber scales. I'm a big carbon fiber guy. I've got other knives with carbon fiber that I really like. And it's got this kind of dark stonewash finish everywhere. It's got his custom pivots, which at the time this was really cool. Now everybody and their mama does some kind of custom pivots, but it still looks nice. It still feels good getting custom pivots. It looks great on both sides. He's got a lock bar insert there, as you can see, and he's got his Hoback rolling detent, which is a ball bearing that sits inside of the detent. Oh, sorry for bumping the camera. A ball bearing that sits inside the detent, and as you adjust that set screw, it's an Allen screw, you can basically change how much detent pressure goes onto the blade. It is on bearings. I have it set pretty snug, and I set it once and never did anything with it again. And whoo, this thing fire hard. It lives up to the hype. Its action is fast. I was unsure about it before I got it, whether I was going to like it or not, but dang, is that action fast. It's got a interesting style to it. It is a Kwaiken style, and my understanding is that they were small Japanese knives, typically fixed blades, but he adapted that to be a flipper a while ago, and they were pretty popular in the folding custom knife world. There's been a few examples of Kwaiken style blades, but he's probably got one of the more famous, recognizable ones. He's got this nice aggressive jimping up here, which I'm a big fan of. Your fingers kind of sit into that first finger, or that only finger choil. As you can see, it's pretty flat, and against the tang of the blade there to really lock you in. So if you've got heavier duty cutting tasks, this works well. He's got 3/16 inch blade stock. The only reason I know that number off the top of the head is because that is what the maximum sharpening angle my wicked edge can handle with its current set of jaws. And I've sharpened this, so I know that for sure. What else is there? Oh, pocket clip. Just close this so I can get you a better view. You can see he's got his maker's mark on there. It's kind of a hatchet, and this is a kind of a spring pocket clip. He's got a cutout there and a hole right here. Stylistic choices. It's held on with two Allen screws there. Not my favorite pocket clip I've ever had. It's functional, yeah. It's not deep carry, so like this much of the knife is regularly sticking out of your pocket. It's kind of funny, the deep carry versus non-deep carry argument. I prefer deep carry pocket clips, but not because I think it fools people and that you're not carrying a pocket knife. I just think, like, if you were to see all of this, you know it's a pocket knife, and there's a ton of advertisement. Sorry, it would look like this, right? The clip sticks out of your pocket too. And it's a ton of advertisement that there is a pocket knife in your pocket because there's just so much real estate here. Versus if you just see the clip, yeah, I mean, you probably know that you still got a pocket knife, but like there's just so much less pocket knife that you see, and it just draws more attention to it. And the other thing is that I really don't like banging up stuff because my knife is hanging out of my pocket. It's got so much real estate hanging outside of it. Yeah, the pocket clip is probably the only thing to touch, like your car door or whatever else you run into around your pocket. Like it probably doesn't matter that much, but I don't see a need for this. Um, yeah, it gives you a little bit more real estate to put your hands on while you're getting it out of your pocket. You have a little bit more. I just don't struggle with that all that much. So for me, it's not a priority to have a bunch of the knife sticking out of your pocket to risk damaging the knife or other stuff around your knife and more advertisement that you have a knife. Like, I don't like drawing attention to my knives when I've got them in my pocket. Am I trying to conceal them? No, not really. Like, that's not a priority. But I just, like, I don't know, I just don't like it being super flashy like that. And that's coming from, like, I have other knives with giant pocket clips on them and very colorful. Like, this will stand out too. But, like, it's the way it sits in your pocket, you don't see all that much. Like, it's definitely different. I don't know. That's my opinion, but to each their own. So, this is kind of a overbuilt folder. Overbuilt folders were really in around that time, like 2014 to, I don't know, 2018, 2020, something like that. And then people started going away from flippers towards thumb studs, and they started going towards smaller knives. Knife trends kind of come and go. Will we see overbuilt folders come back? Maybe. There's still some people doing it. Direware's still doing it. Medford's still doing it. It's not Dalibor still doing it. It's not like it's going away, but yeah, this is kind of a art of the past, and I know that since Jake is not currently making customs, as far as I know, these are not super common. Probably won't ever be common like this again. Even if he does pick it back up, I'm sure he won't be making them like this. So yeah, I'm happy with having this one in my collection. I probably not even going to bother with should you buy one, should you not, just because like they're kind of hard to find and hard to follow. You know, it's hard to tell what you're getting when you buy one. Are you getting a custom, or are you not getting a custom? I don't really know what the tells are on that, so I don't really know. I've already talked about the action. It's pretty good. I'm getting a little bit of lock stick because I have lubricant on the pivot there, and the lubricant sits on the blade tang, and it gets sticky on the lock there, but the action is good. It's definitely not a push button. The flipper tab geometry, like, it's just a big point. Like, you're not pushing down on that, rocketing it out. Like, to me, this is a pretty clear light switch, and that works fine. You can definitely preload it a little bit, and you can get it to fire harder, but just based on the geometry, this is a pretty clear light switch to me. Size comparisons. Let's compare it to some other big knives. So I don't have a ton of variation in my larger knife collection, but speaking of Dalibor work, let's bring out some big knives from Dalibor. So I got my Draco, I've got my Unnamed, and I've got my Hoback in here, and all of these knives are beasts, and they sit in this category. Ooh, got a little bit of smudge there, but it's all good. As you can see, the Hoback sits healthy in these larger knives. The Unnamed and the Hoback are bigger. They're also bigger this way. Blade stock is probably similar. I've never tried to sharpen my dowel bores because they don't need it. But blade stock looks similar. So yeah, big beefy knives. And if you're into that kind of stuff, then the Jake Hoback would resonate with you. If you're not really into that, and you prefer like smaller knives, so like I've got my Jason Clark Mini Hunter here. We'll do a little shuffle here just for giggles. Yeah, so like you can tell that it's a big knife for sure. And so I think he's made smaller variations of his Kwaiback. So if you're into that kind of stuff, I think you've got that. He makes production versions, so you can get them pretty easily. I've never handled one, so I don't know how they are, but if they're anything like his custom knives, I'd say they're pretty good. Should you pick one up? Yeah, but probably. I like them. I like them pretty well. Like if you find one that's in the configuration you want and it's semi-custom, or you find a custom one, yeah, it's probably worth picking up. It's a kind of harder use knife for me. I love this like apocalyptic finish. It's got this great stone wash or acid wash with stone wash on top of it. The handles are kind of this dark motif, which I like. It's a great carry knife. And I have carried it quite a bit. And I like that, so. It's in 4V. It was my first knife in 4V. I don't really care for 4V and 3V anymore. They're fine. They're tough steels. I think the difference between 4V and 3V is just whether it prioritizes hardness or toughness. If you don't know the difference, my understanding is hardness is like how it is typically associated with how long it will hold the edge, and toughness is basically like how chip resistant is it. So a knife that's tougher tends to not be as hard, and a knife that's hard tends not to be as tough. So I think this one is less tough and more hard, so I think it will hold the edge a little bit longer at the consequence of if you slap it against something that will chip the blade, you risk chipping it. As you can see, that is not the case with mine. I've got this mirror-edged finish on it, and it cuts great. I bought it used, so I don't know how it came from Jake, and never sent it into anything, so I don't know if how he would sharpen it or whatever, but man, it does what I needed to do. So whenever there's an Amazon box that needs broken down, the Hoback Kwaiback has no problems getting it done. Some other stylistic things that I forgot to talk about is he's got these two back screws, and they are basically kind of stopped at the back of the knife. I tend not to prefer... Gosh, I'm so sorry for bumping the camera again. I tend not to prefer this style over something like this, where you've got screw heads on every side. I just think it looks cleaner when it's done like this, whereas this, it's not that it's like less technical to execute. I'm not trying to suggest that it's like it's easy to build knives. I'm not suggesting that at all. I just think that it looks better when it's symmetrical. Just a personal thing. Also, for a custom knife, I kind of wish I didn't see pocket clip holes on both sides. I guess he anticipated that lefties may also want to purchase this, and that's fine. I didn't order it from him. I probably, maybe at the time, had I requested no pocket clip holes on the other side, the show side, he would have met that request. But again, bought this used, so didn't get a chance to make that myself. But I don't know. It is what it is. And he's also got this, oh my gosh, that's so dirty. He's also got this kind of like geared back spacer, and he cuts it into the frame and the back spacer, and it looks good. It's functional. In the reverse grip, make sure I don't touch any of the other knives. It's functional. Your knife doesn't give you any hot spots in this grip. Your thumb has a great purchase here. Like it feels solid. Like it's great. Same in this configuration. No hot spots. Fingers slide in great. Jimping on the blade is awesome. This knife has great traction just about everywhere, and I really like that. Let me get some of these other knives out of the way here. Excuse me for just a second. So yeah, I I don't have a ton of additional commentary on the Hoback Kwaiback, but I am happy to have it in my collection. It's cool to have a custom, especially now that the customs are a lot harder to come by. Yeah, I enjoy this knife. I don't carry it a ton anymore, but I used to carry it a lot. I probably got this knife around like the 2017 mark. So they were still kind of hot, but he was starting to get into more production knives. And I find that when makers start giving their designs away to production companies or producing their own level of production knives, however they choose to do that, the customs tend to become a lot less desirable because the style choices and stuff, it's not unique to the maker when people can get it at any price point. And that's true for other knives, like Lee Williams is that way, and I think GTC Knives has offered his at more production prices. And that's good for both custom knife collectors who are interested in buying, and it's good for people who like the designs of knives, but they can't get into the custom world, price prohibitive typically, because they can get into that design for a lot cheaper, given the knives are usually not nearly as high quality, fit and finishing is not typically as good, action's probably not as good. Like, there's still a reason to get the customs, but for whatever reason, that's just not in the cards. And that's okay. So yeah, I think it's a solid piece, and I've enjoyed having it in my collection. And I have no idea how hard it is to get one of these now. I don't see them for sale on dealer sites a whole lot, probably because a lot of the knives are mid-techs, not customs, whereas this one is a custom, not a mid-tech. And yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think about it. Would you buy one of his full customs if it came on the market? Would you ignore it? Are you still wrapped up in the controversy from years and years and years ago or whatever? Like, I don't know. Where you sit? I like it. I like that it's I kind of like this like apocalyptic finish. It sits into my knife preferences well. Flips great. Like, look at that recoil. Look how it bounces off my hand. That is a solid flipping knife. The action on this is undeniably good. Yeah. So I want to thank everybody for joining me, and I hope you have an excellent day.